continent, effed up people. There is no coming back.
I hear in Nigeria economists and politicians telling me that the GDP of Nigeria is 500 billion United States dollars, and that therefore it is the biggest economy in the world. I am reminded of the words of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, my friend, when he says, in a debate between dwarfs, what is the value of one dwarf saying I'm taller than the other dwarfs? You are still a dwarf. This Nigeria is capable in 5 years of becoming a 3 trillion GDP economy. The fundamentals are there. Talk of human resource. And I think it is my sister, you go to anywhere in the world, tell me, engineering, artificial intelligence, space, Nigerians. The saying goes, if you go to any part of the world and you do not find a Nigerian, run away from there. Because there is nothing to be done there. It is these Nigerians who will move the country. I keep on reminding my Nigerian friends, you say you are 220 million. No, you are not. I suspect you are 300 million. And if my suspicion is correct, you owe this region and this continent the talent. You know, when people talk about instability in Nigeria, I ask them, can you handle refugees from Nigeria? Can you? You cannot. They'll overwhelm the entire West Africa. So it is in Africans' genuine desire that Nigeria remains great and becomes great. All the ingredients are there. Writing in 1983, Chinua Achebe, in his book, The Trouble with Nigeria, said that it is simply and squarely a problem of leadership. That is an African problem, and I also want to say it is also a problem of followership. Before the Ezemwe started speaking, he talked about what is expected of him in the village. When you are appointed into a public office in Africa, they actually expect you to be a thief. And if you don't steal, they say you are not wise. So in the minds of many people in Africa, Abuja and Lagos are hunting grounds where they send their sons and daughters to steal, to take antelopes, which they share in the village. That thinking must change, because service for humanity is what we must look at. And I have no doubt in my mind that Africa can do it. When I look at Africa and I look at Nigeria, I see an Africa that is capable of rising because our sons and daughters now present in the continent and even in the diaspora. You go and see the Africans in the diaspora, whether they are in Antigua and Barbuda, and my good friend here, the ambassador of Antigua and Barbuda, Wallace Williams, Trinidad and Tobago, will agree with me in that regard. You go to St. Vincent's and Grenadines, you go to Jamaica, everybody now wants to come and invest in Africa. But we must make the circumstances right. So we must improve our politics. We must make our laws enabling. We must improve our agriculture. We must improve our health. We must improve our education system. We must improve the quality of the environment so that we stop our young men and women dying in the Mediterranean Sea, dying off the coast of Dhaka, going into modern day slavery in Saudi Arabia, in that part of the world. It can be done. We have seen here.
Amen. That's Professor Lumumba. He is from Kenya. And then, at least undisappointingly, you will say he's an orator. I love listening to him. So he's like one guy that people from outside Kenya sort of love so much, but Kenyans see him as Femi Falana of Kenya. You know, that kind of thing. That he is also a friend to all the establishment. even though he speaks directly to them, like in the public forum like that. But like in Kenya, he's the friend of the establishment. So they don't really kind of rate him that much. Like some of you carry him, like, I mean, some of us carry him. I just love listening to him because he always had that chance of probably speaking directly to the face of these rogues. And they laugh. Fortunately, they laugh. They laugh.
A young man was working in Lagos, and then they told him his sister died in the east of Nigeria, and he told them, please don't bury her yet. I will get permission from my place of work so I can come and be there. By the time he got permission, was able to arrive, the woman had been dead for 11 days. They embalmed her and kept her in the house. But he had an handkerchief that had been anointed by us, and he entered carrying the baby of the woman who died, because the woman had a little child before she died. Entered the room, laid the handkerchief on her, command you in the name of the God of Adeboye, arise, and began to go out of the room in sorrow. When he got to the door, he heard a sound behind him and turned, and the sister was sitting up. A young man was walking in.
Oṣó ni, àjẹ́ ni, ẹlẹ́bọlóògùn ni, amániṣe ni, afàìmọ́niṣe ni, wọ́n á fi yín sílẹ̀.
Amen. And these are the reasons why, that's one of the reasons why Nigeria will never be a real country, or the Nigerians will never have anything called great country. It's never going to happen. Because rather than stand up against those who are responsible for the degeneration of this contraption, they told us to go and pray. Go and pray. Go and pray. When people steal money, they should go to jail. When people violate the law, they should go to jail. But not in Nigeria. You see, Nigeria is a place where somebody who looted his own state, gone underground, declared wanted, and he sent lawyers to the court to go and tell the court that if they could bring the court down to his own, his town, that is the only time he's going to attend the court for his own corruption case. Only in Nigeria. Go and pray. Pray for your leaders. What do you mean? Pray for them to succeed in looting you? I don't understand. Yeah, from Kogi State. You've heard about Yeye Bello. Is one crazy maniac, right? Right now, very soon you are going to see the poster of Yeye Bello for president. And before you know it, they're going to tell you that Yeye Bello, those who are chasing Yeye Bello for stealing over 80 billion naira from Kogi, they were just doing so because he's a political enemy and all other stuff. Only in Nigeria, the crime scene or the crime capital of the world, in this kind of, in this order. But these guys are not giving up. Okay. We're going to go to Kogi. We're going to go to Abia. Then we'll see a few places to stop. Okay. If you haven't shared this broadcast, please share it. Let's go to Kogi.
Kogi State is that, and at men of the press, I want you to help me ask the federal government, the Inspector General of Police, and the security agent, if at all Kogi State is still in Nigeria. Because most of the things that happen in that state, I don't think Kogi State is part of Nigeria. Because that state is so small that Yeye Bello, the fugitive we are talking about today, ordered the court to transfer his case to Lokoja. Have you heard that before? A suspect ordering a high court judges to transfer his case to his place of choice. And the same thing now. The Inspector General of Police is now ordering the Supreme Court to give the judgment on the 16th. As I speak to you, official constituted panel of the Supreme Court have not been done. It has not been officially communicated to SDP, Amuritala Yakubu Ajaka. As I speak to you, no hearing and no date of the hearing have been passed. So, please, gentlemen of the press, is it possible for a judgment to be given without hearing? And it is important for you men of the press to help us to ask the Nigeria government if at all Kogi State is still part of Nigeria. Because the lawlessness is getting out of hand. The lawlessness, the impunity, the torture activity, and you know what? Let me shock you with this fact. He wrote here that the police to take a strategic position, and do you know what? All will be thugs in uniform. In army, navy uniform. I was a victim of them. Over 45 guns was pointed on my head. Can you believe that somebody that is standing before you was almost killed at a gunpoint? It's only God who blindfolded them. They heard me and were asking me to identify myself, and God, with infinite mercy, I gave them a different name. Meanwhile, they have blindfolded me. So you blindfolded me and asking me for my original name. Do you think I'm a fool? That is the only saving grace, and it is only God that can do that. And the same veteran, I don't know how we have been complaining about him. Why? Another question, you men of the press, you help us ask Inspector General of Police, IG Ogbuteku, with due respect, sir, you delivered me, you flew all the way with helicopter to Lokoja to save me. But then, sir, there is still more work to do. After you saved me, your man, he stayed there. 2 of your officers were killed. And today there is nothing have been done about that. It is not by force to impose your son. Let me tell you this. It is not just about Kogi State. It is about even both the central, the west, everybody everywhere is bankrupted. The governor who he brought Ododo is from Okene, his cousin. The chief of staff is his son. Let me tell you this and I challenge him severally as men of the press. I am challenging Ododo, I am challenging Bello, I am challenging Ali Bello to come out with his DNA test. If Bello is not his father, he should produce his father and his DNA test. I came from Nomagedo to Tubatu. I have a family. My father is known. His identity is known. If you say I'm not the son of my father, within 24 hours, I'm going to produce you my DNA test. I challenge them to produce Bello DNA test if it's not Bello's son. The Accountant General of the state, Okene, what is the relation between him and Bello? The Chief Justice of the state, the son that is now the Chief Commissioner of Justice, where is he from? Okene. What is the relationship with Bello? Are we running a one-man show in Kogi State? Are we part of Nigeria? I don't get it. I don't get it. DG Government House is from Okene. As I speak to you, the ICPC have ordered Kogi State to produce the account of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs and the whole account of the state. The woman who is Hajia Habibat have refused to cooperate with the ICPC. ICPC, wake up to your responsibility. Kogi State is part of Nigeria. As I speak to you, DG Government House is from Okene. Only Okene alone produced 3 commissioners, while some other local government have not produced 1. As I speak to you, the biggest local government, the second biggest local government in Kogi State have not produced a single commissioner. It is imperative that we look into this affair and don't hand over Bello. See, EFCC are looking for Bello. They can never get Bello unless justice is given to the people of Kogi State. He will continue to rule in Government House, and it will be extended to other states. Other governors listening. If you embezzle money and government want to go after you, put your son there, because they are doing it in Kogi State. If it succeeds, which I believe it will not stand, but if they allow it to stand, trust me, every governor in Kogi in Nigeria will follow suit. Embezzle money, steal, put your son, gather some money, bribe all your way through, and nothing will happen. Banana Republic is better than Nigeria if we follow that suit.
Now, From every indication, Yeye Bello have reduced EFCC to nothing. They should ask the president, has he forgotten so soon all the insults that Yeye Bello rained on him during the presidential election? What is that thing now that is making them to be shielding this man? After 8 years, he's still in the government house, and they want to tell us that they don't know where he is. But press, we are appealing to you people to direct this question to the president. Where did we go wrong in Kogi State? Why is it that Kogi State case is different from every other state? A lot of people have been killed in the course of that election. 2 police officers were killed in that election. Yet, Yeye Bello is untouchable. If the president wants to redeem his image, he should know what to do. We know where Yeye Bello is, and they can fish him out. The only way they can fish him out is to give the people the justice. Supreme Court is a constitutional court, and anything they do will either mar this country or make the country.
Him in Benghazi Street, he was booted out of that place by Ododo, either in his boot or in his car, or however they moved it away from there. Straight to the government house with all the entourage, with police, with all his talks. Have you seen him outside anywhere since then? No. So he's in government house.
The question is this: is Kogi State conquered? If we are conquered, then where is the face of the commander-in-chief? Are we still part of Nigeria? If we are, but for God's sake, we are calling on the commander-in-chief to call these people to order, to avoid anarchy. People are dying. Those children of the poor that you are suffering and neglecting today, trust me, when the jungle mature, they will start crying back and fighting for their rights.
Continue. 70 years old man. You. Jesus is Lord. Continue. 70 years old man. You. Jesus is Lord.
Carry me they go, daddy, carry me they go, my husband does. Carry me they go. That's Nigeria in a crisis, no doubt. But in my own book of surprises this year, there was never a time I expected Kogi people to come out and say, Sheikh Kogi is still part of Nigeria. What did we do wrong? Well, that all these questions, right? Just kind of like, they just demurs me like, okay, I'm listening. Yeye Bello, the fugitive, lives in the government house. He drives around in the governor's convoy, protected immunity. The policemen that are guiding the government house in Kogi, the policemen and the rest of security guys who are with the Kogi governor, they see Yeye Bello every now and then. They probably just have gists every now and then. They take him around every now and then. But Nigeria is looking for him. EFCC is looking for him. ICPC is looking for him. Police looking for him. But they are not looking for him. They just make us believe. They made us believe that they are looking for him. Nigeria is a crime scene. It is not a slip of tongue. It is a real fact. You know, when they say facts, a factual statement, right? It is. Nigeria is a crime scene. Talking about elections, talking about killing people, talking about a crime scene and the rest of that, what Nigeria represents. This guy, Osita Chidoka, he was with a show, and they were kind of talking about the roguery that took place in Imo State, where Uzodinjo, the man that opened the door and then activated the terrorism, most of it that you are seeing today in the eastern part of Nigeria, how he became governor, and how he rigged himself again. somebody was doing a scientific analysis of it. I think you should watch it. I saw it and I'm like, I'm going to share that with us. Yeah.
Let's begin. This is what we know. The man that was declared winner is the APC candidate and the governor of Imo State. He got a re-election and he won that election as declared by INEC. But this is what we do know. 29.4% as a voter turnout. But what did you find out at the Athena Center when you dug into the result and you found out what exactly really happened in that election?
So go to the next slide. So these are the key data from INEC and also from the Freedom of Information request. So against the 771,000 voters that was made to call the result, the Beavers only accredited 541,000 voters.
Officially. On the day of election?
On the day of election.
541,000. That was accredited by the Beavers.
And on the EC8A, the electoral officers recorded a total of 728,887 votes. On the EC8B, some were cancelled. There was vote inflation. We went to 729,000. But along the line, certain cancellations, we come to 717 at the EC8D, the final votes that was used in calling the result. So this is 541, hold that number, and this is 717,000. So you can see the massive difference.
So a lot of
almost
people,
200,000.
Yeah, let's break it down. This is on the election day.
Yes.
What's the Beavers officially the instrument for accreditation?
Accreditation.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And the Beavers emerge from INEC wanting to say accreditation and voting is going to commence almost at the same time. Simultaneously.
So you accredit, you vote. So there is no way you could have accredited 541 and 717 will vote.
And
because
usually,
no accreditation, no voting. That's
usually, the Beavers has a memory.
Yes.
It captures in its memory.
Yes, it's stored it.
What is being accredited on the day of election. 541,000. But now there are discrepancies in these figures. Now, downloaded from INEC Viewing Portal, which are the result that has been scanned by the officials of INEC onto the IREF.
So if you go to the next slide, you will see what we saw on the IREF. If we see what we saw on the IREF, so here we are. No, go back, then go back. So let's continue from there. So there was significant non-compliance with INEC electoral guidelines in 1,101 polling units, where the results, the total votes cast, did not match with the Beavers accreditation. So that is to say, Beavers accredits A number and they recorded B numbers. So the number of voters were more than what the Beavers accredited. This only happened in 23% of the polling units. Now, hold that. In 77% of the polling units, the results were consistent. The total votes and the Beavers matched. So there was very high compliance. Technology has helped us in Nigeria to say that our votes do really count. Our 73% was compliant. 23.1%, now this is the problem. They altered the election results. If you look at this, these are the local governments and these are the non-compliance issues. The highest non-compliance happened in about 10 polling units, in about 10 local governments. So you see Oru East, Uguta, Okigwe, Olo, Oru West, Ikeduru, Wangele, Oso, and Dunkwere. Interestingly, all these local governments are in the senatorial zone of the governor. This
of the winner of the election,
the APC candidate, interestingly. But the highest was in Oru East, the local government of the governor. That's where we saw the highest non-compliance.
So what happened was that whatever we saw as the official result, either the one uploaded on the Beavers, the one uploaded on the IREF, and the one INEC had eventually as given to you by INEC, there were discrepancies to the original result has been announced. So let's go forward.
Now, there was overvoting in 807 polling units. In
875
polling
which
units.
Which makes 18.3%.
18.3%. And it accounted for 345,000 votes, 47,560 votes. So these votes substantially impacted the final results. Now, again, where did these votes come from? It came from Oru, Oguta, Okigwe, Oso, and all the Wangele. So this is where these votes came from, where 54% of these polling units with overvoting are in 5 local government areas. 4 of those are in the senatorial district of Olu. So we saw a situation where the total vote cast were higher than the votes accredited.
All right. If you look at it from the diagram on the screen, so in blue you will see the Beavers accredited voters on the day of election, the blue. Yes. So, and you will see as against the EC8A vote cast, which is supposed to be the vote. It's supposed to tally.
It's supposed to tally.
So unfortunately, they are not. So you will see the increase, which gives you the 347,000. I mean, the 18.3% unaccounted for, which we could not validate.
We could not validate. So what that means is that by the INEC rules, once the votes are more than the Beavers accreditation, you cancel that polling unit. Now, in the polling units where there was this distribution,
this is what we know.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it. You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Forget about it.